Now, more aspirants are emerging for different political positions as the 2023 elections in Nigeria draw closer. One among them is Adelaja Adeoye, who is vying for the House of Representatives in Oshodi-Isolo Federal Constituency 2 in Lagos. Prince Adelaja Adeoye has said that the reason he wants to be at the National Assembly is to negotiate a better deal for his people. Adeoye, who has held political positions at both state and national levels, said his political exposure and experience will help in achieving this and other promises to the electorates. He joins us now to speak about his aspirations and what he's bringing to the table come 2023 and beyond. Good to have you, Adelaja Adeoye.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
Thank you for being here. So on Twitter, it's hashtag Laja 2023, a better deal. What's better about your deal? What do you have to offer the Oshodi constituency?
Well, I have a lot to offer to my people, and that's one of the reasons why I volunteer myself to go to the National Assembly to negotiate a better deal for them, like I've been saying. And that's actually our campaign mantra, because as a member of that constituency, I know majority of the problems we have. And I feel as one of them who is not someone coming from the outside to just come and, take a position there. So I will be able to go to the National Assembly and push bills that has to impact in the lives of my people. And I'm sure some of our communication to the public, one of them is we are looking at critical areas like education, we are looking at healthcare, we are looking at bills that within our purview that we can attract through constituency projects to the constituency that will have direct impact on the people. So all are summarized to say a better deal for them.
All right, okay, go ahead.
So the country's facing a variety of different economic issues. Inflation is sky high. It's just one of many issues. What sort of economic experience do you bring, whether it's policy or business, that would inform your work if you were to make it to the House of Representatives?
Well, we know in Nigeria, one of the problems we have is the fiscal policy in the country, the economy. We know the trend, the downward trend in the economy due to leadership gap we have. That is why we are campaigning in PDP, and we are hoping that we are going to, bring forth our best hand with experience, quality experience that can change the economic situation. Because when we have a president, of course, this next election, by the special grace of God, is going to be PDP election. We know what has happened between 2015 and now. We know where we are in terms of economy. So we coming on board, bringing a presidential candidate that will win the election, that will change the lot of our people. Okay, we are not going to be talking about inflation. We are not going to be talking about unemployment. We are not going to be talking about capital flights that we are having, because a lot of people are taking away their business because there are other embedded problems like the issue of power. Because when the power is not stable, people will not come into the country to come and do business. They rather take their businesses to other surrounding African countries where they believe that they can get their business done. Because anybody bringing out money to come and do business is doing so because you want to have a high return on your investment. But if these things are not guaranteed in Nigeria, they will take their business away. And that inflation you are talking about will come into place, because the little we have here will be sold at higher prices. And at the end of the day, we are going to have bad economy. We, as legislators, we are going to be looking at areas where we are going to formulate policy to turn around some of these issues we have in terms of economy. And the typical example is we look at exchange rate. Exchange rate is one of the problems. When the exchange rate is not stable, you see prices of everything goes up. We see CBN, the central bank, where we have, at some point in time, we have various exchange rates for different kind of thing. We look at critical sector. How can we help critical sector and ensure that maybe some of them that want to import machineries into the country, are we having some form of rebate or some of help that we are doing to them to make it easy for them? FX getting FX. So these are some of the critical problems we're having. So as legislators, these are key areas we are going to be looking at to ensure that we work with the executive, we sit with them, we work with them, and we make sure that our economy is doing fantastic.
Very good, Adelaja, but I'd like us to be a little bit more specific here, still on the socio-economic issues. Lagos is still grappling with the issue of massive housing deficit as of now. How would you bring your experience, as a stakeholder in the real estate sector to bear in this scenario? And, to a large extent, how would you ease the minds of your constituency, if elected, in this regard?
Okay, like I've posited before, one of the problems we have in real estate sector, I can categorize them into two. One is land acquisition. We have problem with lands. Then the second one is cost of building materials. We know how much cement is sold as of 2014. We know how much cement is sold today. Then we know things that we can do to make some of these materials to be easier to purchase for people. For instance, what are the constituents we need to have mass housing or personal houses for people to use? Now, we know what we have been grappling on, how we can revive Ajaokuta. For a very long time, several billions is being poured into this project and nothing is coming out of it. And these are potential where we can actually bring out iron ore that will assist and will be maybe some form of government partnership to make it subsidized, that people can have, can have access to material. And also cement. We talk to major producer of cement. This has to be collaboration with government. Of course, it's rub your back. What are the areas we can formulate policies to assist and sit with these manufacturers and hear them and say, what are the problems you are facing? If we as government, we formulate policy and we work with the executive and we're able to solve some of this problem with them, you find out that once the problem is taken off, then cost of cement, cost of iron, cost of this and all of those things will come down. And at the end of the day, people will now be able to say, okay, even real estate practitioners, they also will be able to build and they'll be able to sell at a cheaper rate. Everybody is working very hard to raise funds because banks has not even given funds for you to do. Commercial banks are not giving funds because of the sector, how volatile the sector is. You understand? But when major problems are solved, cost of buying building materials, cost of buying lands, and all the problems associated with land acquisition, all of these things are legislated. Okay, most of these problems are resolved. Yeah, you see people interested in mass housing. You even see government agency doing affordable mass housing. They are facing problem with land acquisition. But these are areas we are going to come in to formulate policy and fine-tune some of these things so that land acquisition, compensation, and all of these things are done in a seamless manner. Once we want to do government project and all of that, then there won't be any issues and people will be able to have quality and affordable housing to have access to them.
I have to ask this question. How would if in the event that you actualize your political aspirations, how are you going to represent women?
Well, for me, if you come to my constituency, majority of my supporters are women, young and old, and these people, they mean business and they are fanatical about supporting me.
Why are they fanatical?
Yeah, they are fanatical because they are my mothers. The way I am treating them, I take women first. Of course, it's hard for me to say because my fellow men will say, why?
Don't worry, they won't.
Because
just go
as you can see, you are in the midst of 4 men. You understand? so women are people that I take to high esteem. They are our mother. Without women, they can't be this world cannot expand. This world cannot move around. This world cannot become what we are. Okay, women play major role in our existence. So I realize that, and they are people that they take a center stage in my heart. Okay, because a woman will have a male and female child, but the source is a woman that carried. So we have special program for women. Okay, like in my constituency, we have program for women, we have for the youth, we have for the elders. Because what we want to do is, we want to do empowerment program for our young people in the constituency. The empowerment program you see regular politicians do is that they just bring out a lot of things and say they are doing empowerment. We are going to train these young people, because I'm coming from a formal sector. So I know what it is for people, for us to work with data and for us to also do the right thing. Yeah, we are going to train them, and we are also, as part of our constituency, allowances and things like that, we are going to set up seed capital for them after training them, so that we can take at least some of them out of the streets. Because one of the problems we have in the country that result to restiveness is because of joblessness. Young people, they say, this adage that they say, an idle hand is the devil's workshop. You understand? So when we are able to take some of them out, and other people actually see example of what we have done, they will come. Some of them, I can tell you for free, they don't like the way they are on the streets doing all of the things they are doing. It's not even comfortable for them. But it's just because there are no concerted efforts by people, by elected people, or by government, so to speak. Of course, some government are actually trying in this regard. Yeah, but if more people go into government that have this kind of mindset that we need to take some of our people out of the street and let them begin to have something doing, we train them, we reform them in a way. Some of them that need adult education, for them to really be in tune with what we want to do for them, we put them into adult education and they get all of these things. Then we now place seed capital into their hand. The reason why that training is very center and very important is because some of these young people now, this is the age of social media. Once you give them money, they go and buy iPhone, they now begin to do big boys, do social media and things like that. They forget the essence of that empowerment that you are trying to do for them. I even told them that even though some of them that even like to do Bet Naija, as to have kiosks, Bet Naija, we are going to train them, because we'll ask them what they like. Because if you force them,
in a way, it sounds like you're focusing on the youth.
No, not the youth. Not the youth.
You talked about the buying iPhones, and that doesn't really reflect on what I'm asking about.
No, I'm coming to the women. Okay. The women aspect. Okay. Most of our women, most of them, they like doing trading. Yeah, we are also still going to. Is still part of. Our empowerment is not to just buy Ankara, buy normal thing and give to them. Our mindset is to be able to empower them really, so that they can be self-sustainers, okay, for themselves. Some of them who are market women that probably they don't really have more money to continue their trade, we are going to assist many of them. Their children also, because most people working, what they are working for is either to train their children and also pay their house rent, some of them assist basic need of life. So in a way, we can assist from what we are getting from our own constituency by the virtue that we are in government. We are going to set aside a portion of it and use it to take care of this, our women, our youth, and our elders. Most of the elders you see, some of them, they are old, they are weak, they could no longer walk. So if it is for us to identify some of them and we pay them stipend every month, just like social service that happen abroad, that people, at least some of them, they might just even need just 5,000 to buy drugs, that they don't have. Yeah, but by the time someone is there assisting them, some of them are supposed to die in the next 2 years, you understand? By the virtue of that, for the fact that they get someone assisting them financially, they become happy. Psychological trauma they go through for the fact that they don't have money. Some of these things begin to, reduce. Yeah, so those are some of the few out of many programs we have that encompass better deal for us.
So I want to pick up on something you mentioned, which is insecurity. Economic lack of safety net in an economic sense is definitely an issue that feeds into insecurity in this country. But it's bigger than that. And other parts of the country in particular face more dire economic situations and security situations. As a member of the House of Representatives, you would have a vote on these national issues. In addition to economic empowerment, what else would you seek to implement to limit physical insecurity in the country?
Well, so you see, insecurity problem in the country, it's something I feel that we need to put more effort at achieving. And what are the means of preventing insecurity? It is not you and I. It is the security agencies, the police, the army, the NSDC, the Air Force and things like that. The first thing is, what is our welfare package for these people, these servicemen? That's the first question. Because when people are happy to do their job, they give in all their best. You blame police every day. Some of them, they buy the uniform. Some of them, they buy all of these things themselves to sustain themselves. We as legislators, we first look into the welfare of our servicemen. Okay? When we tackle the basic problem that makes them to stand on the road to want to take 5 naira, 10 naira from you, then that is a distraction on its own. Because they are focused on getting the money. Somebody can put an arm in the boot, but because they are faced with the 100 naira to 200 naira they are collecting because of the welfare that is lacking. Yeah, when we solve that problem, we have almost solved almost all the problems. What is the level of training, intelligence gatherings mechanism for our security operatives? Because if, for instance, in the US, they have FBI, they have this, they have that, before terrorist attack, even in Nigeria, we see reports where they will say, America advise US citizens to be cautious in so. They are in US, they are getting information on what is happening. Then our own security architecture in the country, what is the level of intelligence gathering that mechanism we have? These are areas where we as legislators, we are going to put more effort to make sure that we address and we come up with policies that will address this salient problem. Because it is easier for us to stop some of these things when we need it. Before it happens, we get the information. By the training and the training we have, our security operatives they have, yeah, than for us to wait for it to happen before we start acting. So that is my own ideology and what some of the things that we are going to be considering with my colleagues in the House. That let us solve the problem before the problem starts. Yeah. So, for instance, now you see they said they are protesting somewhere in Kano or something. Yeah, the protest has not happened, but some level of information gathering is helping. Then security operative now will now step in and ensure that that protest does not happen. If it is not, they don't have basis to protest, or if they have basis to protest, they have to be on ground to guide it so that it does not snowball into crisis or a chaotic situation that it will be it will not be in the capacity of security of operative to cope. You understand? So those are the things we need to solve the problem that is creating the insecurity. If we solve the problem of unemployment in the country, then our security operative, their welfare system will take care of it. You will see that these people that you talk about creating this problem, are they not member of the public? They are member of the public. But if we take them away from that crime scene, they will be part of us that we want the progress of the country. They will not be part of those who will create the problem that will say, okay, put bomb vest in your hand, in your body, go and bomb this and that. You ask, are you okay? Because the person is enlightened. You understand? So you will not be willing. That is where I talk about education. Because catch them young. These young people, the orientation that they have right from when they are small, some of them, they take it up. And when they become adults, it's practically impossible for you to mold them. Okay,
and on that note, Adelaja Adeoye, aspirant for the Federal House of Representatives, Oshodi-Isolo Federal Constituency 2 for Lagos. I would like to thank you for your perspective on those issues and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.